Hi, this is Larry Chambers from Phnom Penh, Cambodia, and this is the third in our series. And tonight I wanted to address some of the comments that I got on Facebook, and I wanted to make an offer of any questions that you have about the war or about what I found out about Vietnam and Cambodia. Please go ahead and ask them. And this has been 4 years now since I've been coming here, and I got to tell you, every single thing that I once believed true has turned out to be not true. From how the war got started, to the bombing of Cambodia, to hiding history from those of us that were there. I think most of the guys that fought in the war sort of knew something was off, something didn't feel right, but we couldn't put our fingers on it. I mean, the South Vietnamese didn't want to fight in the war. We didn't understand what that was all about. But the more you dig into it, the more you see it was just a quagmire surrounded by lies and deceit at the political level. And here's what I want to talk about today. First, I want to say my friend Robert Grassmere had once told me that I talk more about the Vietnam phony vets than I did the heroic vets. And that really made me think about it. We were up in Hanoi, and when he told me this, and I was ranting about guys that pretend that they were in Vietnam or have some big stories, and the stories are always you can't check the facts. You know, there are always these kinds of stories that are absolutely ridiculous, but there's no source. So what I want to talk about is the heroics that I personally saw, and I'll start with a guy by the name of Zojak. Ray Zojak was his name, Sergeant. He was on his second tour when I met him when I was in F-58 Infantry LRPS. Zo's missions, this guy was amazing. He was fearless to the point of, once they were surrounded by the 5th, I don't know how large this element was, but it was part of the 5th NVA regiment. And there was he had 5 guys on his team. He's the team leader, and he's on the radio talking to the TOC, which is the Tactical Operations Center. And for some reason, they always questioned. There was always this question: are you really in contact with the enemy? Zojak was not only surrounded; he was calling in an artillery strike, but it was way too close. One of the things that the LRPS could do is it's what's called, we could fire a mission on the gun target line, which is the line right over your head. So if there's any screw up, you're going to get killed if the artillery's off. And so the artillery officer asked Zojak, well, how close are they? And Zojak said, wait a minute, I'll hand the mic to one and let you talk to him. This is the kind of guy Zojak was, fearless. He was on, when I met him, they actually asked Zojak to leave Vietnam. You know, it's kind of like in the movie that was about, oh shoot, I can't remember. It was about the Korean War, and when the guys were in the hospital trying to avoid going out in the field, and they said, you know, if you're scared and you don't want to go out, then you're sane. It's the guys that want to go out that are insane. Zojak was probably close to that. Not insane, but he gave an operational report to a group of officers from G4, and Zojak was convinced that the North Vietnamese were using elephants and racist monkeys to guide the elephants, and they were bringing ammunition into, down the Ho Chi Minh Trail. And of course they said they're using monkeys. He'd spotted a group of elephants, and he'd called a B-52 strike on these elephants. Sorry, elephant lovers, but that's, that happened. Now, they asked Zodiac to leave. I got really pretty close to Zodiac in those last days, and he was like my hero. He was like a superhero, but not the ones that are in the movies that have all these superpowers. His superpower was he was fearless. I've never seen anybody like him. And Zodiac leaves, goes home, gets a job as a truck driver, and he's married, just gets married. He's coming down a mountain. He lived in Massachusetts. He's coming down some mountain road, and at the bottom of this road there is a railroad crossing, and there's a school bus stopped at the railroad crossing. Zodiac's coming down the highway, and his brakes go out on his 18-wheeler. Zodiac has the choice of either the possibility of, hitting the school bus or taking his truck off the road, and that's what he did, and he died. So Zodiac died as a hero, and you're not going to see his name in the Ranger Hall of Fame. Those are all the guys that are alive to promote themselves to get in that little clique. I think if anybody that should be in there, it should be somebody like Ray Zodiac, and I think every single Lerp that ever knew him would agree with me on that. That's my story tonight about Zodiac. Thank you.